The Division III semifinals are back in Salem for the 15th straight March. But this year, the two-time defending champ from Washington University has been replaced by two pairs of aces, anxious to play a winning hand this weekend. Two teams from the same league, the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, and two teams cut from the same championship cloth. Former D3 title winners Williams and Wisconsin-Stevens Point are all set to do battle. Virginia's Championship City welcomes you to the 2010 NCAA Basketball Championship. Now let's take a look at how these teams made their way to Southwest Virginia in their respective sectional finals. The Guilford Quakers are back in Salem for the second straight year. 2009's third-place finisher earned its way back by topping its conference nemesis, Eastern Mennonite University, in the sectional finals. Playing on their home floor in Greensboro, North Carolina at the aesthetically pleasing Reagan Brown Fieldhouse, the Quakers were not only looking to advance, but also to deliver a little payback. Just over a month earlier, the Running Royals hammered the Quakers on this very same floor by 27 points. It looked like it could be a repeat performance early on as EMU jumped out to a 7-point lead in the first 6 minutes. But Guilford settled down and relied on its veteran leadership and an array of talented performers to take control of the contest. Clay Henson cleared the dance floor and scored 14 of the game's next 16 points in this first half. His hot shooting forced an EMU timeout and put the Quakers on top 25-21. Guilford would get a big lift from junior Martin Stevenson late in the half, and 6'9" senior Tyler Sanborn asserted himself on both ends of the floor, dropping in 14 in the first half as the Quakers shot a blistering 70% from the floor in the first 20 minutes and hit the break on top 47-40. Sanborn and Henson led the way in the second half as Henson finished with 25 and Sanborn tallied a team-high 26. The big center also snared 14 rebounds to record his 29th double-double of the season. But in truth, all of the Quakers shot the lights out on this night. Rhett Bonner, T.C. Anderson, and even freshman Josh Pittman contributed to the Quakers' season-high 61% field goal shooting for the game as they drained 35 of their 57 shots. The Quakers also dominated the boards, out-rebounding the Royals 41-22. The tournament champs in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference are now 30-2 on the season for head coach Tom Palumbo, who now has won 147 games in just 7 seasons at Guilford. The Quakers roll back into Salem riding an 11-game winning streak. Guilford never had to leave the comforts of home during its postseason run as the Quakers opened up the tournament with a resounding 83-59 win over Christopher Newport. Things got much tighter in round 2, but Guilford slipped past John Carroll 85-82. Then on the sectional weekend, the Quakers topped Worcester 75-68 before beating their conference rivals by 10. Guilford battles Williams College in the first national semifinal. Williams College is back in the Final Four for the 5th time in school history. The Ephs punched their ticket back to Salem by knocking out Brandeis 71-57 in their Elite Eight sectional final. Like Guilford, Williams played its sectional weekend on its home floor at the raucous Chandler Gymnasium in Williamstown, Massachusetts, knowing that a trip back to Salem was on the line. And the Ephs know all about Virginia's Championship City. Williams won the national title here in 2003 and then finished second the following year on the Salem Civic Center hardwood. In 1997 and 98, the team finished third in the nation in this very building. And this year's squad is anxious to add to that resume. The Eves roll into Salem with a gaudy 29-1 record that is punctuated by an active 20-game winning streak. Against Brandeis, D3's Player of the Year, the 2010 Jostens Trophy winner Blake Schultz lived up to his billing by throwing in 29 points and grabbing 7 rebounds. The senior co-captain and the Player of the Year in the New England Small College Athletic Conference pushed his seasonal point total to 570 in the victory. And the Eves would need every single one of them against Brandeis. The judges roared out to a 21-12 lead in the first 10 minutes of the contest. But true to their championship form, the Eves roared back and took control of the game thanks largely to the play of James Wang. The talented guard sliced through the defense and contributed 18 points. Troy Whittington also was a major factor in the contest as he dominated the inside with 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 in-your-face rejections. That type of defense held Brandeis to just 35% shooting for the game and allowed Williams to build a working margin in the final 3.5 minutes. Schultz scored 8 of Williams' final 14 points as the Eves advanced to the Final Four with a hard-fought 71-57 win. Second-year head coach Mike Maker, the conference's Coach of the Year this season, has the Eves poised to add to their already impressive NCAA body of work. Williams is now a stout 29-9 all-time in NCAA tournament play. This year, after a first-round bye, Williams opened the postseason at home by disposing of Farmington 83-64. The Eves then coasted in the opening game of the sectionals by hammering State University of New York Institute of Technology 104-70. Williams then punched its ticket to Salem with the 14-point win over Brandeis. The Williams Eves take on Guilford in the first national semifinal. The Pointers of Wisconsin-Stevens Point also know a thing or two about the City of Salem. In 2004 and 2005, they captured back-to-back national titles under then-head coach Jack Bennett at the Civic Center. This year, the Pointers earned another trip to town by putting away Illinois Wesleyan. In front of an overflow crowd at the Quant Fieldhouse in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, the Pointers were able to take down the Titans in the battle of perennial D3 powers. This sectional final was a methodical, tight game in the early going as 5'10" point guard Jarrell Harris kept Stevens Point right in step with the Titans thanks to some aggressive drives to the hoop. Harris also helped the home team build some momentum and separation on the scoreboard when he fed 6'6" Scott Hosel down low for the two-handed jam. The Pointers then got a balanced effort the rest of the half to build a 34-26 halftime lead. Nick Krull's nice feed to Ross Foreman was complemented by Dan Tillema's flurry in the final moments of the half as Stevens Point led it by 8 at the break. Wesleyan Scott Johnson did all he could to get the Titans back in front as he threw in a game-high 32 points on a variety of shots. But Matt Moses, who missed most of the opening half due to some foul trouble, got his stroke rolling the final 20 minutes to finish with 11. And Jared Jenkins dropped in 15 to lead a balanced attack that would see 4 Pointers score in double digits. Stevens Point outpointed the Titans by 8 in each half to post a 72-56 win and improve the team's overall record to 27-4. Head coach Bob Semling, now in his 5th season at Stevens Point, topped the 100-win mark this season and now has 117 victories and just 29 losses. The Kings of the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference have posted 23 or more wins in each of the past 3 seasons and have captured 26 regular season conference titles and 6 tournament crowns. This is the farthest the Pointers have been in the tournament since winning the championship in 2005. The Pointers opened the postseason and advanced by the slimmest of margins, edging Carleton 59-58. The Pointers topped St. Norbert by 15 in round 2 to set up their Sweet 16 showdown with Texas Dallas. The Pointers prevailed and then punched their ticket to Salem with the 16-point win over Illinois Wesleyan. Wisconsin's Stevens Point, the Pointers take on Randolph-Macon in the second national semifinal. The Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets were able to carve out their place in the national semifinals by beating one of last year's Final Four participants, Franklin and Marshall, 73-65 in their Elite Eight matchup played in St. Mary's, Maryland. F&M's Mike Baker did his best to will the Diplomats back to Salem, but the Yellow Jackets just outworked their opponents in this one. Macon shot just 36% of the opening half of play, but the team was still able to take a 1-point lead into the locker room at halftime. Eric Pugh had a couple of key hoops in the first 20 minutes, and 6'9" Brandon Braxton asserted himself in the paint on several occasions. Macon hit the break on top 28-27. Macon picked up the pace considerably in the second half, shooting 50% from the field, with Pugh doing his damage both inside and out. The junior from Silver Spring, Maryland threw in a game-high 23 points that included 5 three-pointers. Danny Jones also made himself at home against the Dips by scoring 14 points to go along with Calvin Krosky's 10. Macon takes down the winningest coach in D3 history to earn its first ever appearance in the Division III Final Four. Way back in 1977, the Yellow Jackets played for a national championship, but back then they were members of Division II. Current head coach Nathan Davis was 20 years removed from that team when he graduated in 1997 after starring for the Jackets, serving as a captain as well as earning all-conference first-team honors. His coach, however, did lead that 77 squad, and the late Hal Nunley no doubt instilled Davis with the championship skills he now brings home to his alma mater. Davis has the Jackets on the cusp of a national title in just his first season as a head coach. And while Salem is 190 miles from the Randolph-Macon campus in Ashland, you can bet it feels like home to the road-tested Jackets. Randolph-Macon is the only team in the Final Four to play its way to Salem out of a suitcase. Macon had to play its first 2 games on the road in Reading, Pennsylvania, picking up wins over Cabrini and Clark. Then in the Sweet 16, the Yellow Jackets topped DeSales before denying F&M another trip to Salem with the 73-65 sectional clinching win. The Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets take on Wisconsin's Stevens Point in the second national semifinal. The crews at the Civic Center have been working hard all week long to get the arena just right for your visit. We trust your accommodations are satisfactory as well. So everything is now in place and ready for the hard work to begin on the hardwood. 4 teams, 2 days, but only 1 trophy.